This training was developed by the University of Colorado Denver Department of Environmental Health and Safety, or EHS, and is intended as an introductory safety training and orientation for anyone who works with power tools or in a campus workshop. This training is required for anyone working in a University of Colorado workspace that contains any of the following items: hand tools, power tools, heavy machinery such as table saws or CNCs, welding setups, or any other physical hazards as assessed by EHS. The University of Colorado has a variety of unique workshops on campus, as well as labs that contain shop equipment. These tools, from X-Acto knives to CNC mills, are inherently dangerous and require training before use. This training is intended to give general guidance on principles of shop equipment and machinery, outline expectations of EHS with respect to workshop admission and training, provide additional resources on shop safety. Power tools and machines capable of causing severe injury or even death are found in many workshops and laboratories on campus. In addition to power tools and machines, there are typically many other hazards in campus workshops. One example is the materials you're working with. Make sure the material you are using is compatible with the tool you are using it with. Hand tools are often not given the respect they deserve, which has resulted in recent injuries on campus. 3D printers off-gas fumes and pieces of material that is being printed that are small enough to stay airborne and be inhaled. It is important to use compatible materials with laser cutters and ensure that they are set up and used in compliance with manufacturer recommendations. Welding equipment poses multiple hazards, and additionally there are electrical hazards, noise generated from power tools and machines, and respiratory hazards. We will outline several of these hazards so you will be able to identify them in the shop. Before we talk about specific shop hazards, here are the requirements for gaining access and working in a campus workshop. Workshops are for students, staff, and professors who require the space to complete academic projects only. On-the-job training forms must be filled out by everyone using tools or machines in the shop. Safety and skills tests differ between campus shops, but each program is reviewed annually by EHS to meet certain criteria. Not following shop rules will result in losing access to the shop. No one is allowed to work in a campus workshop alone, and at a very minimum, one additional student or employee must be present. EHS recommends shop supervisors and monitors be present whenever power tools or heavy machinery are in use. Documented safety and skills tests are required for students to demonstrate to the shop supervisor that you are able to safely and correctly use power tools. We have made several references to shops and workshops. Some of you may be thinking, I don't work in a shop, why am I required to take this training? Many departments within the university, at both the Denver campus and the Anschutz Medical Campus, have shop equipment, even though the space where the equipment is located isn't necessarily a shop. For example, an engineering lab with compression testing equipment and 3D printers. Because shop equipment is being used, the training requirements are the same. Completing this training, undergoing on-the-job training, review of the hazard assessment for the equipment you are using, and performing a safety and skills test with the shop supervisor. Going forward, anytime we say shop or workshop in this presentation, we are also referring to non-shop spaces that have shop equipment. It is of note that training requirements described in this presentation apply to both university students and employees, with the exception of facilities management. Shop safety begins before you enter the shop. You must come prepared and in a clear state of mind to work safely. This means refraining from working in the shop when you are very tired or drowsy, under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or in a state of mind that would distract you from working safely. For students, plan your work throughout the semester and do not wait until the end of the semester to get your work done. Projects can take longer than you expect. If you make a mistake, you may not have enough time to finish your project. Shops get crowded towards the end of the semester, and you may need to wait because someone else is using a tool you need. And rushing to complete a project will result in sloppy work and increase the chance of an accident. The dress code may vary from shop to shop and is at the discretion of the shop supervisor or monitor. If you have to argue that your clothing is appropriate, you are wrong, and you will be asked to comply or leave the shop immediately. At a minimum, long pants or dresses that extend to a pair of sturdy, closed-toed shoes and a form-fitting top are acceptable. Loose clothing is discouraged because it may get caught in moving parts. Similarly, long hair must be tied back. Wearing headphones is not allowed in any shop or workspace with shop equipment. They are distracting, do not allow you to hear variances in how tools are operating, and can get caught in rotating parts. Please take a minute to review these general shop equipment rules. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is an important part of protecting yourself. ANSI-certified safety glasses must be worn when operating or observing any tool. Reading or prescription eyeglasses are not sufficient protection. Hearing protection is recommended in all shops, and EHS can perform noise sampling if requested. Disposable filtering face piece respirators, or dust masks, such as the mask with the green outline, can be worn by anyone in the shop. These dust masks only require that you read and understand the next 2 slides of this presentation. Elastomeric respirators, such as full and half-face air purifying respirators, such as the picture outlined in red, have additional requirements and may not be worn without a risk assessment, medical surveillance, training, and fit testing from EHS. Filtering facepiece respirators, or dust masks, such as N95s, R100s, and P100s, may be worn by anyone, but you must first read and understand the next slide in order to voluntarily wear one of these respirators. N95s and other filtering facepiece respirators, such as the one pictured above, will protect you from inhaling dust, mold, and pathogens when worn properly. N95s will not protect you from oxygen-deficient environments, chemical fumes, mists or fogs, radioactive materials, paint fumes, or smoke. Contact EHS if you have any questions about the proper use or the limitations of these respirators. Please take a moment to read the following slide. If you have any questions, contact EHS. Please take a moment to read through the standard operating procedures for all campus shops. Many projects require cutting materials with handheld blades. Apply these rules whenever you are using a handheld cutting device such as an X-Acto knife. Employee exposure to unguarded or inadequately guarded machines is prevalent in many workplaces. Consequently, workers who operate and maintain machinery suffer approximately 18,000 amputations, lacerations, crushing injuries, and abrasions each year in the United States, 800 of which result in death. Never alter or remove machine guards, and never use your hand in place of a clamp. Please follow these rules when using hand tools. Here are some more rules for power tools. Please take a moment to read through these rules for welding and brazing. Electrical work may only be performed by trained professionals. In addition to these rules, always make sure to unplug power tools that are not in use. If you are a trained professional attempting to fix a broken tool or machine, you must adhere to the OSHA standard on lockout tagout. If your project requires painting or spray painting, you must follow these rules. Paint only in improved areas that are well ventilated. When spray painting, use a disposable backdrop. And if you're outside, do not spray paint when it's windy. Contact EHS if anything other than a filtering facepiece respirator or dust mask is used while painting. And finally, paint and some oil-based paints and stains are flammable, so they must be stored in a flammables cabinet. This includes rags and other materials that have been soaked with paint, solvent, or thinner. They must be kept in a metal container with a sealing top in the flammables cabinet. These materials should be disposed of through EHS. Some of the chemicals you might encounter in a shop include compressed gases, paint or spray paint, solvents or cleaning agents, amongst others. All flammable, corrosive, toxic, or reactive chemicals must be entered into your workshop's online chemical inventory. Contact EHS for instructions for completing your shop's online chemical inventory. This is typically the responsibility of the shop manager. When working with a chemical you're unfamiliar with, consult the Safety Data Sheet, or SDS, for more information on that chemical. SDSs include information on chemical properties, reactivity, proper storage, and what to do in case of an emergency. Anyone working with a chemical should know how to access the SDS via computer if the hard copy is not available in the shop. Chemical waste management training is required for anyone who works directly with chemicals or is in a shop that contains chemicals, even if they are not working directly with them. This is a Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment requirement. Visit the University of Colorado EHS website for instructions on chemical waste disposal. These are some examples of incidents that have occurred recently on campus. Although the University of Colorado Department of Environmental Health and Safety attempts to be proactive in preventing accidents and injuries, incidents will still occasionally happen. If an incident does occur while you are in the shop, first assess your personal injuries and seek medical attention if necessary. If you are unhurt, assist others with injuries and also seek medical attention if necessary. Your personal health and safety is the most important thing to address. Call for help by dialing our campus-specific dispatch centers. If in doubt, call for help. After immediate threats to life or property are dealt with, report the incident to your supervisor immediately. You can find the incident report form in the forms section of the EHS website. Workers' compensation claims must be submitted to University Risk Management within 4 days of the incident. Now let's watch a brief video on shop safety.
This video will instruct you on some of the safety rules everyone must follow while in the shop. This is an introduction, and further training from a supervisor is needed before you are ready to work. Meet Haley. Haley is going to teach us what to do and what not to do in the shop. When you enter the shop, be aware of your surroundings. Oftentimes, there will be signs advising you of hazards or safety precautions. Loose clothing is one of the most important easily avoidable hazards. Before you even enter the shop, remove loose articles of clothing such as hats, scarves, and gloves. If you are wearing long sleeves, make sure the sleeves are rolled up and out of the way. The shop is full of spinning and high-velocity equipment that can catch loose articles of clothing and pull you into the machine. Make sure to take off watches, rings, and bracelets, and that your hair is always tied back and out of the way of any spinning equipment. Make sure you are wearing closed-toed shoes, pants that cover your legs, and a pair of safety glasses. Safety glasses are necessary to prevent any flying debris from coming into contact with your eyes. Some additional protection is required in particular circumstances such as ear protection, dust mask, additional face protection, and gloves. Now that Haley is using the proper PPE, she is ready to go to work in the shop. Unfortunately, the shop is currently empty, but it looks like Haley is going to go ahead and start working anyway. Let's try that again, shall we? Before you begin working in the shop, it is important to ensure there is a supervisor present. Meet Sam, the shop supervisor. Sam's going to make sure that the shop and its occupants remain clean and safe. Now let's try that again. The shop is empty, but it looks like Haley's going to find the shop supervisor. That's better. Now that the supervisor is on scene, Haley is ready to work safely in the shop. Remember, never work alone. If there is an accident, you need someone there to help you. Now, under proper supervision, Haley is going to attempt to make a cut with a table saw. Unfortunately, it looks like she's not sure what to do. Do not do any work if you aren't comfortable with the machine. Now let's try that again. This time, when Haley has trouble understanding the saw, she asks her supervisor for help. Sam is able to quickly identify the problem and help Haley understand her mistake so that next time she is ready to operate the saw on her own. It is important to always think through your operations in the shop as to avoid any complications. In this case, Haley wants to cut a wide piece of plywood. Unfortunately, she is uncertain of what machine to use for the job. Surely she should use the miter saw. Oh, maybe not. Or maybe the panel saw? Nope. What about the table saw? There we go. Remember, if you aren't sure, ask your supervisor. It is also important that you never try to work while tired or inattentive while in the shop. When you are tired, your ability to make safe decisions is compromised. Now that Haley is awake and aware of her surroundings, she should be ready to work safely in the shop. It is also important to be aware of where you put food and drink in the shop. Some shops may explicitly forbid you from bringing any food or drink into the shop. Here, Haley is risking her safety and potentially damaging the equipment by leaving her food and drink on the machine. Some shops have designated areas for food and drink. Make sure you talk to your supervisor about the rules of food and drink in the shop. It is also important to remember that you should never come into the shop intoxicated. Just being around power equipment while intoxicated is a serious hazard, and your supervisor will immediately remove you from the shop. Sometimes other people in the shop may mistakenly leave workpieces or other equipment in dangerous places. It is never a good idea to just leave these hazards for someone else to clean. Make sure that exit paths are clear at all times. See here, Haley observes the hazardous materials and puts them away in their appropriate locations. While it may seem like a good idea to use your headphones as ear protection, it can be a serious hazard. Being able to hear irregularities in the sound of the machine you are operating, as well as your supervisor's voice, are essential to your safety. It is also important to never try to get someone's attention while they're operating a machine. This can potentially be very dangerous. See now how Haley waits until Sam is finished operating the saw to get his attention. It is also important to be aware of any signs or labels around the shop that may indicate hazards. Ignoring them could be dangerous and damaging to you and the equipment. Always ask your supervisor about broken equipment and follow their rules. Now you know some of the essentials to maintaining a safe work environment in the shop. Remember that this video can only begin to prepare you for work in the shop. Each shop is different and has many unique aspects and hazards that your supervisor will make you aware of, so make sure to get hands-on training before using any machine. But hopefully, now you feel more prepared and comfortable working in the shop.
Now let's take a moment and review the things that you should be doing when working in the shop. This is a final summary of things that should not be done in the shop. Contact THS if you would like a copy of the following poster. Thank you and work safe. Contact the Department of Environmental Health and Safety if you have any questions about shop safety. Additionally, machine-specific safety videos can be found at this link.